From suing Mark Zuckerberg for allegedly stealing their Facebook idea to becoming the first Bitcoin billionaires in the world. This is a story of revenge and betrayal about Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, identical twins who were deceived at first, but later built a billion-dollar business and even took their revenge. It all started during their study at Harvard, where their classmate Divya came with an idea to connect students at the university. The idea was great, but execution was a bit more challenging. None of them had any experience with something like this. They approached another student, Sanjay, to help them build the website. Sanjay didn't hesitate for too long, but after some time, he left the group to work at Google. Then they worked with another student, Victor, who unfortunately also had to leave the group later on. By that time, most of the coding work was already done. However, they still needed someone with the necessary computer skills to complete their nearly finished social network. In short, they needed a geek, and they found one. Shortly after, the Winklevoss twins met Mark Zuckerberg, a talented programmer who perfectly fit their missing role. Zuckerberg agreed to help them, most likely because he had the chance to hang out with two Olympic-level athletes, rather than because of their social network idea. But within days, he started pissing them off. Everyone thought that Mark was simply delaying the work he had agreed to do, but behind the scenes, he was actually building his own social network, Facebook, with a similar idea and functionality. And he did really well. Mark likely joined their project to ensure they didn't find another programmer to finish it before Facebook was ready. When the Winklevoss twins found out about Facebook in 2004, they accused Zuckerberg of stealing their idea. Unfortunately, this didn't go well. With no other option, they decided to find a lawsuit against him. Even though Mark Zuckerberg insisted that he was the only one responsible for creating Facebook, the Winklevoss twins were offered a settlement of $65 million in cash. Their lawyer advised them to take it immediately. However, the brothers had a different idea. Winklevii still believed they should be part of the social network, so they wanted shares of the company instead. At the time, no one really understood this decision, but the judge ruled in their favor. In the end, it turned out to be the best move they ever made. Just 6 years after Facebook's IPO, the twins' holdings skyrocketed to about $500 million. But even though this made them insanely rich, it couldn't heal the wounds of betrayal. Tyler and Cameron weren't satisfied at this point, so they decided to fly to Silicon Valley. Their plan was to invest their settlement money into the tech startups, hoping to find the next Facebook. However, they quickly realized this would be almost impossible. Every offer they made was declined. Why? Every company had one and the same vision, to eventually sell their startup to Facebook. Because of this, no one wanted to work with people Zuckerberg hated the most. The Winklevoss twins felt disappointed, as people saw them only as the losers who sued Facebook. No one believed they could achieve anything on their own, and they felt a strong urge to prove everyone wrong. But the right idea wasn't coming, and people had already turned their backs on them. Finally, the twins decided to take a break and let it go for a while. Hoping for a change, they went to Ibiza. But nothing really changed. The twins couldn't enjoy it, as they were constantly thinking about what their next step should be. Then, out of nowhere, it finally happened. One day on the beach in Ibiza, they met a man named David Azar, who introduced them to the concept of cryptocurrency. What interested them the most was an invention called Bitcoin. Azar explained it as a digital money created by a mysterious person known as Satoshi Nakamoto. And that was just the beginning. It was a form of digital money that could be exchanged instantly. Each transaction was verified by the Bitcoin community itself and transferred just like sending a text or an email. But what the Winklevoss twins liked the most was that it was beyond the reach of banks and government. At that moment, they knew Bitcoin would either be a huge scam or something that would change their life. The more they studied Bitcoin, the more they began to believe in its potential. After all, money was already digital anyway. Bitcoin just removed the need for banks to control it. However, David Azar didn't meet them by accident. He knew exactly who they were and was just trying to convince them to invest in his friend's company, Bitinstant. At the time, there was only one major crypto exchange, MTGOX, and it had one significant issue. It was extremely slow. People often had to wait hours or even days for basic verification processes. Bitinstant solved this problem by buying bitcoins from MTGOX and exchanging them much faster to regular users, mostly because they used bitcoins on their balance sheet instead of waiting for the MTGOX ones to come. Investors loved Bitinstant from the start, as the ability to buy or sell bitcoin quickly was crucial in such a volatile market. The Winklevoss twins saw the opportunity and decided to meet with its CEO, Charlie Shrem. Charlie convinced them to invest in his company, and they agreed on $1.5 million deal to become partners. On top of that, they asked him to buy them around 100,000 bitcoins, which was approximately 1% of all the bitcoins in circulation at that time. Little did they know what was about to happen next. In 2013, a bank in Cyprus made some really bad financial decisions. They had loaned money to Greece, but then Greece went bankrupt and Cyprus started heading down the same path. The only thing that could save them was the European Union. However, it wasn't as easy as it might seem. The European Union was willing to help Cyprus, but only under one condition. They wanted a lot of money in exchange. The problem here was simple. Cyprus had no money since all the banks were bankrupt. Eventually, they found a solution. The government decided to take funds from people's bank accounts. Not exactly perfect, right? One day, when people woke up and checked their mobile banking, they realized their money was gone. This started not only rebellion in the streets, but also something much bigger, a Bitcoin revolution. People began to realize that the centralized banking system was a huge problem that needed to be replaced immediately. The Winklevii understood this too, so they started traveling around the world, promoting Bitcoin as much as they could. Despite their efforts, the Bitcoin community didn't like them very much, and there was a good reason for that. The twins wanted Bitcoin to go mainstream, which of course would require some regulation. Here, a lot of Bitcoiners disagreed, which resulted in a lot of hate. Again, people saw them as outsiders who didn't share the true Bitcoin vision and were suing anyone they didn't like. The only person who stood by them was Shrem, but he later regretted everything when they decided to sue him. Whoa, let's slow down a bit. Bitinstant became very popular. They went from handling millions of dollars per month to millions of dollars per day. What's more, they managed over 30% of all Bitcoin orders worldwide. But unfortunately, their success was slowly coming to its end. Charlie, who was just 20 years old, became distracted by the money and the lifestyle it brought. He started traveling around the world, stopped working, and spent his time partying all the time. This made the Winklevii a little worried. What's more, there was a small problem with their business model. Despite Bitinstant's popularity, the company wasn't making any money. The fact that Charlie had no experience with leading a company like this and was just asking for more rising cost investments made them even more upset. They even tried to step in and help, but Charlie didn't listen. He missed meetings for weeks and ignored everything they were asking for, until the day when he found himself behind bars. Once, there was a mysterious website called Silk Road. It was an underground marketplace where you could buy anything you wanted, from guns through fake airports to drugs, anything. Try to guess what currency was used for these transactions. Bitcoin, unexpectedly. The founder of Silk Road, Rose William Ulbricht, was eventually arrested and sentenced to life in prison in 2013. As a result, the website was shut down. Shortly after, the FBI began analyzing Silk Road's transactions and discovered something very disturbing. A user named BTC King had used $1 million in Bitcoin to buy illegal goods there. What's more, those Bitcoins had been sent directly from his Bitinstant account, which drew attention to Charlie Shrem and his control over the transactions. Any suspicious activity should be reported immediately, and this one was damn suspicious. Although Charlie knew there was a high likelihood that some of these funds were being used on Silk Road, he didn't bother reporting any of it. When the case went to court, Charlie tried to defend himself but was unsuccessful. He was charged with conspiracy, money laundering, failing to file a suspicious activity report, and operating an unlicensed money transmission business. Oh, that's the thing I forgot to mention. They also lost their license for money exchange and still kept doing it. Even though Charlie Shrem faced up to 25 years in prison, he ended up serving only 2. But there's one thing he can be proud of. Charlie was the first person ever to receive a prison sentence due to a cryptocurrency-related fraud. However, the real trouble started right after he got out of that prison. The Winklevoss twins decided to sue him for $34 million, claiming he had stolen thousands of bitcoins from them. And that's still not everything that happened. Just 2 weeks after Charlie's arrest, the only major crypto exchange at the time, MTGOX, collapsed due to hackers stealing over 800,000 bitcoins. This created a huge gap in the market and also a huge opportunity. And here, the Winklevoss brothers didn't hesitate for a second. With chaos surrounding everyone, the Winklevii wanted to give the crypto space a little order. They created crypto exchange Gemini, which was supposed to be the most regulated crypto exchange in the world, and indeed it was. The Winklevoss brothers also expressed that it was always better to ask for permission than to beg for forgiveness. When they wanted to list a new cryptocurrency on the exchange, they always informed the Department of Financial Services ahead of time. In fact, the Winklevii became the first Bitcoin billionaires during Gemini's rise, and not only because of the exchange. There is also no public evidence of them selling a single Bitcoin they have bought. You can do the math yourself. For the twins, it was never about the money. Becoming billionaires was a byproduct of their fight for Bitcoin's acceptance, not the goal itself. However, despite their efforts to run a problem-free exchange, they were involved in a major issue. During their operation, the Winklevii launched a program called Gemini Earn. The concept was straightforward. Users could lend out crypto to earn interest, similar to a savings account at a bank. Users deposited crypto into Gemini Earn, which then lent out this crypto to borrowers through a partner company called Genesis. In return, users earned interest on their deposits. At first, Gemini Earn was popular because it offered a way to make money from crypto holdings without selling them. People liked the idea of earning passive income, and the program also helped Gemini to grow its user base. Things took a turn for the worse when the crypto market started to struggle in 2022. Genesis, the company borrowing and lending out the crypto, began to face financial difficulties. When Genesis couldn't pay back what it owed, it meant that Gemini Earn users couldn't access their funds either. Cameron and Tyler faced backlash as customers lost their access to their funds. The twins claimed that they were also victims of Genesis' collapse and worked to get money back for users, but many felt the twins should have been more cautious about where they lent customers crypto. Gemini Earn was officially shut down as the fallout continued. Many users lost significant amounts of money, and the trust in Gemini as platform took a hit. The Winklevoss twins are still dealing with legal battles and trying to rebuild their reputation. But to their satisfaction, they at least managed to take a little revenge on their biggest superior in the world, Mark Zuckerberg. Back in 2018, Zuckerberg wanted to create his own cryptocurrency called Libra. At one point, Libra was planned to be launched through Gemini. The twins team assumed everything was good to go because they hadn't heard any objection from the regulators. One insider even said it technically was approved. This deal would have been a big deal. Zuckerberg and the twins working together again, putting their past behind them to potentially make a ton of money. But when the twins double-checked with the regulators just to be safe, concerns were raised. After that, Libra faced more scrutiny, especially because people worried Facebook was becoming too powerful. In the end, Libra was quietly shut down in 2022. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you didn't like it, please write at least a comment on what I should improve. Goodbye!